what they call a pantser, fly by the seat of your pants kind of thing. I am not good at outlining. I will just sit down and write. However, what I'm realizing as I'm in a series now, I have to make notes and outline more. I have to at least keep track of, because now my characters have favorite cookies, or they have histories, they have things I have to keep track of, otherwise I'm going to lose those things in the process of moving along. So I am outlining more now than I ever have before, which was none. So they're like, and my outlines are more like just little scraps of like sticky notes and papers, and when it gets down to plotting, I have a big board that has sticky notes so I can rearrange the scenes on it. But as far as routine, I just write at the house. I'm not one of the coffee shop writers. I know some people go to coffee shops, you guys probably do, and some people are really cool, and I think this is so, I want to be cool like this and wear headphones and listen to music while I'm writing. But really what I would do is start singing along and not really paying attention to what I was doing. So I do have playlists, but I use those more, like if I get stuck on a scene, I'll pop it in and listen to it, but not while I'm writing, like just kind of to work things out, and usually in the car while I'm driving. So, and I just write in the house with chaos all around. I have 3 kids, I have pets, I have, we have TV on all the time, there's noise everywhere, and somehow I manage to tune all that out and write anyway. So, and I wear sweatpants, and I eat a lot of Skittles, and I drink a lot of tea. It's very exciting.
I drink a lot of tea too. Yes, it's like pure sugar. Yes. It's wonderful. I have kind of a pretty sporadic writing process. I outline like a fiend, but I will write any scene from anywhere. Half of Angel Fire was written at my boyfriend's fraternity house. It was difficult, but I managed it. A lot of it I write at horse shows. The second book, Wings of the Wicked, was half of it was written while I was at a horse show. I write up north. We don't have any internet up there, so I'll go up to our lake house and sit on the beach and hang my laptop out on the dock, which is really dangerous, but do it anyways. I'll write from anywhere. I need music while I write, TV, I need just some kind of noise to drown out any sort of acoustics, distractions. I write best at night. Usually I don't start work until after midnight, go to sleep hopefully before dawn. When I hear my neighbors getting up in my apartment and their cars, running, it's like, okay, can I go to bed now? But yeah, I will write any scene from anywhere. If I get stuck, I will just pick up another scene and hammer it out and then go back to whatever I was stuck on later. So just as long as you get something down, that's what's important.
Yeah, to sort of pick up from that, I really think the biggest thing of learning how to write is learning who you are as a writer and learning your process that works for you, because I think a lot of people hear like, oh, you should outline, or oh, you should never outline, or you have to be able to get up first thing in the morning and write, or you can only do this, and people try to fit themselves into those little slots and it ends up being very destructive for them. And I think every person has to figure out how she works best. For me, I'm also a big outliner, although I work my outlines out over a long period of time. I really consider it part of the writing process. Sometimes I spend more time outlining it than I do sitting down putting the words on the paper, because it takes that long and I really sort of go back and forth and try to figure out everything. And the more I write, the longer the outlines get. I think I remember the outline for this book was probably about 4,000 words, something like that. The outline for the book I'm about to start working on, which is called Spellcaster, it's the first part in the Witchcraft trilogy, that's a 20,000 word outline. Basically I just got to go back and put in the prepositions and we're done, I just find that I prefer to fight everything out on the macro level before I sit down and concentrate on the micro level. Now, I do write from start to finish, although I do that mostly to ensure productivity, because I usually love my endings and really fall in love with them, and so I just keep that as my carrot on the stick. If I want to write that last scene, then I got to get through everything else. And this also has the benefit of I go faster as I go through the book, because I've been thinking about the ending so much that by the time I get there, it just, boom, it just goes really quickly, which is very gratifying. I don't have a particular time of day. I do write better at night, but I've just had to, now that I write full time, I've had to get better at writing during the day, because if you're going to be alone writing all day, your need to go out and hang out with people and be more social during the evening goes up dramatically. So I've gotten a lot better at writing during the day. I will write in a coffee shop. I write at home. You know, I write in the airport. I finished Fateful in a hotel room in Australia. You know, it's just, you really do, I think, after a certain time, because you kind of get to the point where you need to be able to just sort of drop and do it. Because when I first started writing, it was like, and my scented candle is lit, and the music is playing, and, you know, the muse is with me. And no, you know, you can't do that forever, I don't think. I'll still light a candle if I can, but you just, you know, they frown on that at the airport. I do create soundtracks, and I do listen to them while I write. I actually got more in the habit with it when I still had a day job. I was living in New York, and I found it really useful because I was having to write, of course, at night. And I would put it on my iPod, and I would listen to the soundtrack the whole way home on the subway, and it just really got me in the mood of thinking about the book and thinking about the scenes that I thought I was going to be able to get to that night. And I found that, and so I was really charged up and kind of get to work right when I came in, which was really nice. And and another thing I do, a lot of people are like, do you write a certain number of pages, or do you write a certain number of words? And I don't do that, because I find that unconsciously, I slack things to make them fit that amount of space. I realized things were getting paced too slowly, because, I mean, I wasn't doing it intentionally. Just internally, your brain wants to think, oh, I can get there with that. So now I just come up with a point in the manuscript that I want to get to. You know, if it's just finishing that scene, it's finishing that scene. If it's finishing a chapter, it's finishing that chapter. I find that's more productive for me. But again, everybody's process is really their own.
I'm such a slave to music. I love music. I will put the same song on repeat for days and days and days and days. And it's funny because there's another writer, Scott Tracy, who's my roommate, and we both started writing at about the same time. He started first, and we had nothing to talk about, and so I decided I was going to be a writer too. That's how that all happened. But he would get so mad because our computer used to be in the living room, and so he'd be watching TV, and I'd have my headphones on, and I had like the really cheesy, like over the ear, full cheap headphones that like leak a lot of sound. And for some reason, like, this book is like a lot of techno. So all he would hear day after day after day is for days. And like there's certain songs, like there's a song called Spin Spin Sugar by the Sneaker Pimps that like it comes on and he like curls in the fetal position because like he can't even handle it. But yeah, definitely I'm very music driven, and I used to do the same thing with the playlist because I was working as a pizza delivery girl, and so I would be in my car all like the whole night, and I would just think of all these scenes, and I'd have my music playing, so I'd plan out all the scenes, and then I'd get home, and I mean it was just like unleashing the floodgates. I write much better at night. I usually write all night. I'm pretty much nocturnal now. And then I've noticed I sleep a lot less when I'm writing, especially when I had my day job. I would go and like work all day and then write all night, and then I'd be like, okay, I can totally live off 3 hours of sleep. It'll be fine. And then like you have to stay awake because you're at work. I'm like, I'll sleep when I get home, and then I'd get home and be like, just one scene. And usually that's when it's flowing good, is when it's if I could just write 500 words. You know, when I fight to write, I know I'm doing something right. I'm a seat of the pantser, totally. It gets me in trouble all the time. I can't plot. In fact, I vlog for the YA Rebels. I don't know if anyone watches that, but on YouTube. People are nodding. I'm so excited. But one of the videos that we did, we talked about how we plot and stuff. And in that video, I had this giant like
bulletin board with my plot on it, and it was all these little color-coded note cards, and I was like, yeah, and then this happened. And none of that made that into book 2 at all. I don't think like any scene did. I tend to make really terrible mistakes and then backtrack and fix them, and then it changes the whole course of the novel. So, yeah, I just kind of go with it, and like they said, whatever works, do your thing.